English and Arabic are ridiculously different languages, but in this video, I'm gonna clear up the confusion so that you can go from learning like this to learning like this. Oh, I get it now. Now let's talk about the 5 biggest differences between English and Arabic. Difference number 1, that fancy script. As you're probably aware, English looks like this and Arabic looks like this, and we read English this way and we read Arabic that way. And at this point you might be thinking, I'm already lost. But what if I told you that you could learn to read Arabic in 1 day? It's true. In fact, this video will teach you everything you need to know in 7 minutes. Because we're only talking about 28 letters. That's the entire Arabic alphabet. And while yes, it's true, many of them are written a bit differently depending on where they appear in a word, let's take the long view for a moment and consider another language, Japanese. The Japanese writing system has 46 characters in one alphabet, 46 characters in a second alphabet, and over 10,000 individual kanji characters. Now learning to read that is a challenge. So don't be scared off by the fact that the Arabic alphabet looks a bit unfamiliar, because with a little effort you can learn it very fast, especially if you work with a tutor on a site like Preply. What's that? It's a language learning app where you can take one-on-one lessons with expert tutors from around the world. Here's how it works. 1, you find a tutor you like. 2, you schedule a lesson when it works for you. 3, you connect with your tutor and level up your language journey.
يعني ايه الفرق بالضبط بين لازم ومحتاج؟
لازم بنقول أنا تعبان، أنا لازم أروح للدكتور، لازم وفعل.
So if you're ready to start speaking a new language with confidence, click the link below to get 50% off your first lesson on Preply. And enjoy. Difference number 2, Shawn Bean versus Shawn Bean? You've probably noticed that English has some pretty bizarre spellings. Why do these words rhyme? Why do these words not rhyme? What the F is that P doing there? Standard Arabic, on the other hand, is almost completely phonetic, i.e. words are pronounced exactly as they're written. And if your response to that is, so what? I'd suggest you try pronouncing these traditional Irish names. That would be Niamh, Siobhan, and Kiva. How'd you do? That's what non-phonetic spelling sounds like, and as you can see, it's challenging. But with Arabic, what you see is what you get. Well, mostly. There is one little hitch. Short vowels, that kind of thing, are typically not notated in Arabic writing. Wait, what? Yes, it's true. 99% of the time, you'll need to figure out where the short vowels go from context. So this Arabic word could actually be any of these English words based on how you pronounce the short vowels. But the good news is that, vowels aside, even the quirkiest of Arabic dialects has far more standard spelling than any dialect of English. Gloss off full, governor, you know what I mean? Never doing that again. Difference number 3, pronunciation. Speaking of accents, Arabic has 10 sounds that don't exist in English. Dad, Sad, Ta, Tha, Ha, Qaf, Kha, Ain, Ghain, and And for many people, pronouncing those sounds is the #1 stumbling block when it comes to learning a language. But let's break this down, because with the right mindset, it's very doable. These 6 letters are basically exaggerated versions of English consonants. And these 4, well, here's a little cheat sheet. Cough. So this is like the English word cough, but touch the back of your tongue to the roof of your mouth as you say it. Cough. Kha. Okay, so this is a little gross, but do that thing where you're trying to bring up phlegm from the back of your throat. Kha, kha, kha. That's the sound. Ain. Okay, this is probably the toughest one, but have you ever heard someone say, aight, as in, how you doing? I'm aight. This is basically an exaggerated version of that aight, aight, ain. Ghain. This is the exact same as the French R sound found in words like rêve, rapide, and radio. And there you go. And FYI, there are a handful of English sounds that don't exist in Arabic, most notably pa, va, and the oh so spicy nya. Now you know. Difference number 4, quantities. Arabic and English treat quantities very differently. So in English, we have one of something and then the plural of that thing. 1 house, and then 2 houses, 3 houses, 100 houses, etc. Usually, if there's more than one thing, we add an S and call it a day. Of course, there are exceptions. In Arabic, however, things are rather different. There is, of course, the singular form, house, beit. But then there is also a category of words that indicate a pair of something, the dual form. So we have 2 houses, or beitin. And then after that is the plural form. 3 houses, telet buyut, 4 houses, arba buyut, and you might think that would be the end of it. But then you would be wrong, because when we reach 11 of something, Arabic goes back to the singular form. 11 houses, 11 beit. 100 houses, meet beit. And that remains true all the way to infinity. So to recap, 1 thing, singular form. 2 things, dual form. Between 3 and 10 things, plural form. More than 10 things, singular form. Now, admittedly, that's not totally intuitive, but with some practice, it does start to become second nature pretty quickly. Difference number 5, masculine, feminine, and a wrinkle. Like the Romance languages, Arabic has both masculine and feminine nouns, and that in itself can be a bit disorienting for English speakers. What makes a book masculine? What makes a car feminine? As with the Romance languages, however, word endings can often point you in the right direction. A word ending in a consonant, for instance, is usually masculine, and a word ending in a ta marbuta is almost always feminine. But there's a wrinkle, and again, it's related to quantities. If there are more than one of something, and those things are not human, that group of things is always grammatically feminine. In other words, kelb, which means dog, is masculine, but kileb, which means dogs, would be feminine because there's more than one and they're not human. Feel free to take a sip of coffee and process that for a moment. Guys, we've covered a lot today, but there is so much more to talk about. If you want to see other videos like this about Arabic or another language, let me know in the comments, and please hit that subscribe button. It really helps. Thanks for watching. See you soon.